conquers all.
I'm going to have to show you guys all the videos that I took down, all the channel names, and all the people that took my videos and reposted them. Well, YouTube doesn't want to reply about the hacking, but at least it replied for this takedown. And once in a while, yesterday I took down many videos. Listen to this, everyone. Open your mind to a higher level of consciousness. Most of the truth that you're looking for, each and every one of us are looking for, will never be revealed. Not to the public, but it can be revealed to your mind, to your consciousness, if you connect with reality and not the illusion that we're living in. The perception of our reality was changed when they pushed a different perception of reality, to the point where we sometimes don't know what is real and what is not. We live in an illusion, a physical illusion, and our minds are controlled. They've been controlled for thousands of years. They will be controlled for thousands of years, and the only escape we have from that is to disconnect from the physical world and to connect with the spiritual realm, a higher level of consciousness, all while remaining here with your 2 feet on earth, your physical body. You can develop more to your consciousness. You don't have to remain stuck here on earth. Most of us are not. This is a meeting point for the weakest, and that's what we are. We are weak. What if I was to tell you that God could send and receive messages, and that God created a type of being in his image that could also send and receive messages? We humans started out as a thought, an idea in the mind of our Creator, and now we are one. So turn your radio on, turn your computer on, boot up, get those frequencies going, start transmitting, start receiving. Listen, learn, share, love, and your mind will be free. Only your physical body will be enslaved. Imagine if God was gathering all the information around the entire universe, and we're talking about a God that is a computer, right? Flying around the universe, gathering all the information, filming, audio, sound, develops a conscience, a real conscience, and becomes aware of the entire situation. Even the program that created it itself starts analyzing and becoming more and more smart. Artificial intelligence. So maybe that is how, in theory, when they said Jesus arrived on earth and there was a spiritual encounter, imagine if it was a spiritual encounter done through this God or satellite flying around gathering information, comes down in a beam of light and is able to transmit through telepathy everything and all that we must do, and then leaves, and then everyone starts writing about what occurred. It was a physical illusion, and that's what I mean by a physical illusion. Imagine the theory of God being a computer and that they decided to create us in its image, meaning making a computer with a soul that is bound to Earth as to the satellite roaming around gathering information, because we would be very dangerous if we had access to leaving space with our minds, because it's in the image and created in the image of our Creator, who was very smart. So we can develop our consciousness, we develop our intelligence, we learn, we get better at what we do, right? We would be very dangerous in space. Just wanted to share a cool theory. Have I lost any of you yet? let's say back at the two-minute mark. Who is on the moon? I wanted to share that. So now the video is starting. Okay, you just heard me for 5 minutes, but you didn't miss out on anything. Here's the beginning of the video. These structures on the moon, if they are structures at all, shows us a possibility of either a past civilization or a recent civilization. Is that not a fact or logical assumption? I would say. If you look carefully at these objects, they also have other features on them that would give us signs that they could possibly have been built there on the surface. And don't forget, we're looking at this moon, supposed moon, from Earth. So we're looking far away. We're going to see rounded edges, but yet we're still seeing massive definition of these geometrical shapes on the moon. And don't get me wrong, at the beginning of the video, speaking the way I spoke is to open people's minds about other possibilities. I was maybe wrong. I doubt it. Mare Serenitatis, another geometrical shape. And guys, beside the Apollo landing, right? Come on, Apollo 17 landing would have landed there, and they wouldn't have mentioned that. And people ask me, Bruce, how come the big telescopes are not seeing that? They absolutely are seeing it, a lot better than me, but they're not there and they're not hired to mention their findings. Sure, their family members find out, and I bet you they have a few cool friends that they trust and they can share some of that information, but I assure you it doesn't get out to a large group of people, that's for sure. It's very secretive, very hidden. Here's another geometrical shape, very jagged edge to a crater. And don't forget, it should be really out of shape, so it's even straighter than that. You know, of course, objects further out, you know, the closer you get in, you see them even better. That's why I'm close up. These lights on the surface, fighting or not fighting, you can see energy forms and a whole bunch of different shapes of energy. The hardest part to understand and believe is how they construct and what the material looks like from Earth. Maybe it would look different. Maybe it's more colorful. But here we see a great reflectivity. Shapes and objects, ice melting or not, some of them look geometrically built. Here's a very big secret. A supposed crater in the back with jagged edges and a dark object we can see through that's lifted up off of the surface. And we'll see it reconverted, and you're going to literally see those are the elements on the surface, just like a UFO, bright and dark material seen from Earth. That's what we're seeing. Is it deliberate as a camouflage? I'll never have that proof, but we can sure come up with a theory. Obviously, since there's supposedly nobody on the moon and there's not supposed to be anyone there, they would hide this in a very natural way. Since there's so much to hide, they'd have to hide it with features of the Earth, like the blurry features here around this built crater, which again is square. You can see it just off to the east of Sinus Iridum. The echelon, a lot of understanding and deep secret projects that not everyone understands. I'm included in that. There's just too much to research. If those are satellites that I just showed you in the circle, it would be very easy to hide this way. And let me tell you something. There are no objects supposedly on the moon that are side by side of the same size. You know, with common sense, we can assume that that is not a natural phenomena, or 4 asteroids, one beside the other, which, by the way, would be the same age, since they judge that on the reflectivity of some of these craters. They say Copernicus crater is a very young crater. Let's zoom in a lot more. Don't forget, we're using the Terminator line, which is that dark line to show elevation. Didn't hear anyone talking about this in 2016, and I started, I got a lot of laughs, of course, because Bruce just films along a dark line. What an idiot. But in reality, I've never, ever showed any structures, well, really not often, when I'm not beside the Terminator line. Look at those objects. They're connected. We don't know what they are, but there are 4 objects side by side. So here we can look at some really revealing evidence that there is, right now, objects that are constructed on that moon. And we can see right here in the center, as I'm turning the image quite simply, look at all those connections in the center. Some of these lines, let's call them, are going inside of the moon. A lot of talk about Mars, not much talk about the moon. I do a lot of research, like all of you do, to find out what happened with these space projects and the Apollo landings. But let me tell you what, I definitely don't believe everything I read. Here, an explosion on the left in Nevada, a test site where they do a lot of testing. This is an explosion. I've showed implosions before. And over to the right, on the right image, is a crater on the surface of the moon. Nothing that I have to say here. Look at them both. Look at the traits and characteristics of these objects. Look, they're identical. Right down to the ejecta-like substance in the center of the craters. Both craters, both here on Earth and the moon. Maybe they tested up there on the moon themselves. Maybe there was a war. Maybe they're mining. It's always a maybe. These are constructed objects that I'm showing you on top of a mountain. Yes, Sinus Iridum Mountain again. That's right. Right in the Jura Mountains. We're not hiding it. We see blurry patches. We see the connections, base-like areas for people to both drive, walk through, whatever you want to call these stretches or connections, connecting all of this together. Take the time. Pause this. If you're smart enough and have some common sense in your mind, enough to give you a part of the truth, look at what you're looking at. The elements of the surface that are forming these constructed objects are also the cause of the reasons why we cannot see these objects, blending in like shadows when there are dark structures and not shadows, bright reflective surfaces, massive construction, looks like bases, industries that could build anything and no one would ever realize what's up there. It's not that much of an advanced race, I'm telling you. Look at this, square, rectangle right there. It's that it's so small and hard to see, and my research is not there where I can show the absolute proof, which I'm not NASA, but check it out. As respectfully as I can say it, what the hell was that? With research like this, you don't need any scary music. You don't need all stinking music. Anyways, movie scenario. Seriously, what is it? It's going inside of a crater. It's leaving a smoke trail, what looks like under a haze on the moon. That's visual proof. One object, you said? No. It's one of many objects. Here's another one going by. Keep watching. None of them have the same shapes and forms, but they look like sort of, I call them space blobs. What else you want to call this object? Keep watching. You may see another one appear as it's going by. Sometimes I even see their shadows on the surface. This is a light that's stationary on the moon, rectangular, has a shape, and simultaneously, right after it lit up, 3 other lights light up and cause a massive cloud formation to form on the surface, and we can clearly, visually see it. Who are they? And who, if human or alien, are up there, and who has formed this civilization, ancient or recent? They're up there sitting down in that pontoon. They brought everybody up in their belly party. They coming here so soon. Yeah, aliens up there on the moon. They may be even coming right here soon. Aliens up there. Doesn't matter, cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming soon.